So this is what your customers, your design engineering customers, are really going to be expecting. They're going to want the problems to be solved by you. They don't just want the products to be sold by you. Remember Tony Uphoff's comment yesterday? Your customer doesn't want to buy a 1/4-inch drill, they want to buy a 1/4-inch hole. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They'll be looking for very highly personalized answers. And as we go further into the presentation, you'll see how this isn't just about the content on your website. So please, do me a favor. Don't race back to the office and tell the marketing team they've got to rewrite the website, because that's not what it's all about. It's really also includes the whole sort of culture of your business. How you think about going to market, how you think about serving the customer. It's not just about web content. A big part of it is the culture of all of the people who interface with your customer. They're going to be challenged more in the future to provide more highly personalized answers, because the density of these devices across the country is at a scale that's teaching us to ask more difficult questions. It's not design engineering questions yet, but it will be eventually. So highly personalized answers is what it's teaching us to provide. EAT. So I said I'd mention one Google algorithm change. This is the one you need to pay attention to. Came out in August 2018. It stands for expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So if you go and read up on this algorithm update, what you'll see is from those three descriptions of what Google says it's going to be looking for going forward, they're looking for long-form content, they're looking for natural language, they're not going to be looking for product, they're going to be looking for trustworthy sites that can solve problems. So Google's definitely riding into this problem-solving idea. So it really is about the culture of your business. And we could talk about a lot of aspects of culture, but I'm just going to focus on two for today. One is content and the other is people. So let's dive into the content side of it. So you may be sitting there thinking, well, hang on a minute, Graham. We all know that content is king. We all know we should be doing content marketing. So why are we struggling to get there? I'll tell you a quick funny story. We won a new client last month, and the president called me up. I'm not going to mention his name because I think he's in the room. He says, hey, Graham, we're ready to go. He said, I'm calling you up so you can push me off a cliff. I said, okay, any particular cliff in mind? And so we had this discussion about inertia. And what he said to me was, I knew we should have been doing this months ago. I'm just not really sure why we didn't get around to it. It wasn't because they didn't have the budget or the willingness. It wasn't because they were just overly busy. They just couldn't quite seem to make the step. And so my team and I have really sort of identified there's three reasons why, particularly in the components industry, who are all of our clients, there's really sort of three reasons why this inertia happens. And maybe it's something you want to think about when you want to try to move along that scale a little bit more towards building a problem-solving culture. Number one is the old adage, we've always done it this way. And that should be pretty easy to break. It's just breaking the system. The second one is really the nature of the components industry. The rate of change of your customers, the Teslas, the Fords, the IBMs, the Boeings, etc., is so fast that you're being challenged by them to keep pace. So you're coming up with new components and new devices all the time. So the natural thing to do is when you have a brand new component that solves a particular issue of power, sensor, whatever, switch, whatever, is of course you want to shout about it. So it goes into the marketing plan. And that's a perfectly natural thing to do. And as I said, I'm not saying stop doing that. You have to do that. But you've got to start balancing it out to succeed in the future with problem-solving content. Okay? The third reason is really comes down to sort of an HR issue. So I was talking to Paula before the event, and I would say I probably visited about 30 component makers this year. And I'm going to generalize here, so it's not true for everybody. But this is typically what I see. The C team is technical. Kind of have to be to run the business. The sales team, almost always technical, have to be to talk to the customer. The marketing team is usually technical, semi-technical, or not technical. So just think about the organization. Who's got the balance of power in the discussion about what goes into the marketing plan? More often than not, it's the sales team, because they're focused on the products they want to sell. That's just the natural way that organizations in the components industry operate, and I see it all the time. So maybe just think about that when you're listening to the marketing team, okay? Because product every time, all the time, really isn't going to be the answer going forward. More of the problem-solving content marketing needs to come into the balance.